is. The joke is like you're going to Antarctica. Maybe that's random. Maybe nobody else. Maybe they only say that in like the spy movies, and that's where it came from. But it sounds like it'd be pretty awful to go to certain parts of it. This is also genuinely, for real, kind of a holiday thing, although maybe a little quirky and silly. All the different places in the world that have unique holiday celebrations. Some of the most confusing ones include parts of Eastern Europe, where you bathe with a carp. A live fish, yuck. You put it in the bathtub with you. I don't know what about it is in celebration of the holidays, and I don't know what else is going on there, and I don't want a lot of additional information, but I guess you get in a freshwater bath, and then you just throw a carp in, and you just kind of do your regular bath thing, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why I like that story so much. In China, they do apple art. I guess they, don't want to do pumpkins or all the things we do here. So they just take really little equipment and paint really extravagant things onto apples, which is a nice use of the product. One of the other ones I like a whole lot in Hawaii is they will have a sleigh pulled by dolphins. People can even ride in the sleigh. It sounds like a whole bunch of fun. It's almost like a canoe, I guess, the sleigh. And I don't know how well the dolphins are trained, so good luck to you. You might not be going the direction you want. But that's a way to celebrate the holiday there. And actually, in parts of, I think it is New Zealand, they actually do barbecues because it's very nice out there. Some of the nicer parts of the world also just have like beach parties and whatnot, including, I think, in India. That's one of the things that happens. So there you go. That stuff out there. Still one of my favorite ones is just you in a bath with a carp for some reason. I wonder if anybody even knows the reason, because I don't see it there. And if you do know, I'd rather not know. I think it's better not to know. I saw this story that an AI, a chat bot, is willing to do your homework for you. This is according to actually a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. There's one caveat to it. The robot will not get you an A. You would think that if you just handed your work to a computer that you're definitely going to get an A pumped back out, but that's not the case. You're going to be a B, C student, most likely, if you just lean on ChatGPT. That's what the robot is actually called. I wonder if the researchers did this kind of on purpose, for anyone that's going to desire to cheat this way or to do things this way and just let the robot answer the questions for them. Maybe there's even like glaring mistakes it'll make on purpose so that you're outed as someone that gave your homework to a robot in the first place. I don't know what I like about this
My lens is
as much as I do, though, but it's just kind of cool. The idea is that even though you're not going to have to do any work, you're not going to get as good of a grade as that kid who is definitely working every single day of the week as hard as he can to get his straight A's. Just other news out there, I thought this was interesting. I guess it's not really all that shocking. I have no idea who I'm listening to on the radio. It might be one of the indicators that things are going to go a certain way as far as economy. But house sales have tumbled again. House sales are down 7.7%.
High interest rates will do that.
Sales were down 35.4% year over year, marking the 10th straight month of declines. The median sale price rose 3.5% to $370,700 from a year ago. I guess it's just a, quote, frozen market, according to many. Sales of existing homes fell at 7.7% compared to October. So it's just interesting to see how some of those different indicators of our economy and even maybe the layoffs and things we've been seeing before might be coming more and more into, being a part of the everyday life. I wanted to touch on
I'm not worried about getting laid off, but I'm trying to get my ass fired these days.
Just a moment ago. But this story is real. So this woman showed up at Radio City to try to go to a Rockettes show, and I guess they used facial recognition software to kick a lawyer out. It's kind of crazy. I guess the lawyer hates certain things, and the lawyer was caught by and I think the real big story here is not even to get into the nitty-gritty of why any of this happened, but that a place like Radio City and the Rockettes use facial recognition software. I think that's been a bigger takeaway than anything else from this.
That's genuinely spooky.
And I do wonder, and maybe if the details are a certain way, sometimes we agree with it, and sometimes we don't. I imagine for the vast majority of the time we won't. But now you could show up somewhere, your face gets recognized, like, we don't want you here. We know who you are. We want you out. And actually, you know what? I was debating whether or not I bring this up when I talk about this topic. I can't help it. I'm assuming there's some people out there, like a friend of mine, who think the same way. This is one of the reasons why a buddy of mine believes so deeply that things like Facebook and Instagram were government operations from jump. And I don't know that I believe that. I think that the government, and certainly what we've seen in the Twitter files, might jump in and try to get access to as much as those social media companies are willing to give them. But all of that willingness by us, the people in the world, to just put our faces, to put our images all over the internet, has allowed a whole lot of maybe countries and companies and anybody who wants it to develop a thing like this, a facial recognition software program that works. I think it's an opportunistic thing again. I don't believe in the conspiracy theories my friend believes in. But when you see stories like this, when you see headlines where it says that facial recognition software prevented somebody from seeing the Rockettes, you can't help but wonder how many more stories like this we'll see and how advanced that technology has gotten and how exactly they built it. I think that's probably the most important one. One last thing, and I'll probably talk about this more if I remember in a bit, but there's a guy who went viral on the internet because he claims back in 2016 he went to hell. That's right. He went to eternal damnation for a little bit and then got...
I live in Phoenix. That's similar.
Gerald Johnson. And he is telling us all what it was like to be in the place where the devil is from. A lot of interesting stories coming out of that. And for some reason, not all that shocking, his account has gone viral. Because why not? All you have to do is turn on a camera, talk to it, and tell people that you went to hell one time, and you're going to get a bunch of clicks. And then actually also facially recognized and kicked out of a Rockettes concert. More after this. Craig Collins filling in on the Chad Benson Show.
Fill in for Chad Benson. I'll explain everything. That guy's interesting. Actually more interesting than Chad Benson. I still to this day don't understand why they, on KTAR, have Benson be half of the afternoon show for 4 hours and then have a show by himself afterwards. That's entirely too much Chad Benson. I miss the guy that used to be on before Chad Benson, Darren Dammy, who used to be a local radio broadcaster with a different air name. Used to go by Crazy Kid on Power 92. In fact, I think he was Crazy Kid on Power 92 back when I was Dan the All Night Man on Y95, if memory serves. Anyway, I listen to his show. I've never been so dedicated to listening to a talk radio show. I used to actually listen to his show at home on my home stereo. If I wasn't in the car to listen to it. Now, for the most part, he was on KTAR when I was a lime juicer, so for most of his show I would be out in the car. But yeah, I'd be so engrossed in it, I'd get home and I'd just sit in the car and listen to it, or I'd pop in and it'd drive Priscilla and she'd be watching a movie and I'm like, oh my god, sorry, I gotta pause this. And I'd switch my living room receiver over to KTAR. Listen to the rest of Crazy Kid's show. I forget what the heck it was called, but I'm reasonably sure I got a clip, or I got like a video on this channel, this YouTube channel. It's a sizable chunk of it, I think. I don't know, might have been on my other YouTube channel. The old videos are just so buried these days. Oh, that is more. So it is Wednesday, December 21st. Wow, weather widget says on the Obama phone says it's 48 degrees Fahrenheit outside. If that's current, that's cold. Time. Show me the time. Come on now. 11 o'clock straight. 11 o'clock straight up. I could have heard network news coming on and figured that out.
By the government shutdown deadline Friday.
ABC's Andy Field before Wednesday night's speech to a jury.
Man, there was a video talking about what's going on in Congress right now, trying to pass the budget to avoid a government shutdown, and unbelievable. Now, this is not, I didn't see like the entire, I don't watch C-SPAN or watch entire government, proceedings. It's for the most part boring as shit, but there are a couple of YouTube channels that I like to follow. My favorite of which is Memology 101, where they'll show certain headlines and show certain short clips and kind of put it all together in a funny, snarky sort of way. But yeah, the one they posted today was about that topic was pretty alarming. It had a clip of Chuck Schumer being asked by a reporter, mentioned how big the current spending bill is because they put so much shit on it. There's just so much pork that is added to the bill that oh well, not going to vote for it unless you add this to it. I'm not going to vote for it unless you add this to it. And then there's all these side committees that are doing it. It's not being done by the actual Congress people. They've got all their minions and lobbyists and whatnot. Hey, we got your back, but you need to add this. And so anyway, apparently the thing is something like it's several thousand pages, some shit like 4,000 pages, which basically means there's no way in hell any of the Congress people, regardless of what side of the aisle they're on, there's no way in hell any of those people are able to read it. They're just having to go by, oh, it's good, it's got this in it, it's got what you want in it, sign it. So when you're signing for that one thing that you want, God knows how many thousands of pages of bullshit that nobody wants is in there because some lobbyists for Big Pharma got it in there, or whoever. I'm just throwing Big Pharma out there because they seem to be the biggest evil in this whole, in everything these days. But anyway, it just showed the clip of a reporter asking Chuck Schumer, how the heck, if it's so big, anyone's supposed to read it, and then he threw out some bullshit like, well, it's in committee, and you should know this, and you should trust this, and blah, blah, blah. Basically making excuses for the fact that they have a bill that absolutely no congressperson can read. I mean, period, full stop. Not in the time that between when it gets put on the floor and when it has to be voted on, which to me is ridiculous. And then they also had a clip of, I think it was Rand Paul, picking up the bill, lifting it up, and then taking his hands off it so you could hear the weight and heft of the physical print of the bill just landing on the table. And hello, I thought we were trying to, what happened to the Federal Paperwork Reduction Act? Because that sounds like a massive waste of paper. But there still had to be a printed copy, given apparently to every congressperson. So he lifts up his in his office here and hit the table with a loud thump. And I don't recall, there was a quote of him saying something in another interview. Did you see him drop the thing? And then there was audio from some meme thing saying, what the fuck is this? Which is pretty much exactly what I was thinking. Oh, motorcycle cop on the right. How much am I speeding? Less than he is. I'm good. Anyway, yeah, it was disturbing. It's things like that that remind me that just how broken government is. And then it's not even just one side, because it's the libs, it's the Democrats. No, Republicans do this crap too. And as much as I am not a fan of the current president, I think presidential line item vetoing is a possible solution to it. But something that somebody put in the comment section of that video really was great, and it said that rather than, because there were a lot of people debating about how there should be a page limit or an amount of character text limit to a bill, and I'm not for that. I do support the concept of line item vetoing, where a president can go through a bill and go, nope, I don't support that, I don't support that. Now, granted, that is giving a lot of authority to the executive branch of the government, especially at a time when the executive branch of the government is a fucking train wreck. But it certainly would. I mean, otherwise the option is just veto the whole thing and go back to the drawing board. So I think if there was a line item veto option for the president, maybe there'd be less lines, and people would make a point to actually kind of put through what really needed to go through in the bill. But anyway, what somebody suggested is that all bills should be actually read from beginning to end on the floor of Congress before they are voted on, which would prohibit, and that if anybody leaves, any congressperson leaves before that reading is completed, that their leaving shall be deemed as a no vote. My brakes just locked up on the gravel here. It's a little scary. Yeah, the Saturn does not have anti-lock brakes. I found that out the hard way when I nearly totaled it on a trip to California, which I think was after I started my vlog. I wasn't vlogging when it happened, but I took my trip to Orange County and Long Beach and Venice Beach and Santa Monica. That's been a while. Definitely been over a year now. Dang, I've been doing this vlog a long time. And I almost get, sometimes I get as much as 50 views a video, so it's really catching on. Not that, you know, I mean, hell, I don't even watch everyone, so, you know, whatever. Anyway, so what the heck is going on with me at like 11 o'clock heading to work? In a nutshell, I overslept again. What's been happening with me lately on that, and you know, it's easy to say, well, it's because I'm not coming home to good sex. Priscilla's not taking care of me. Yeah, it's that wasn't on the agenda at all today. Period. It just is what it is. But eventually she will fully go through menopause, and that won't be an excuse. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so no, lately what's happened is I get home, I'm super tired. Speaking of tires, yeah, I've spent over $200 on new tires at Discount Tire. Made an appointment to go there, and I haven't made it back. I not only missed my appointment because I fell asleep, but I haven't, it's been over a week, and I haven't found the time to get back there, so I hope to God they honor my receipt. I expect they will. Discount Tire tends to have really good service, but I'm certainly not living up to my end as a customer, so I think they do well within the rights to just say, hey, you know, screw you, we're keeping your money. Of course, I would call my bank card and just cancel the damn thing, but still. Although I might have done it with my debit card, I might not have those protections. Yikes. Anyway, shit, where was I with that? I gotta wrap this shit up. I'm almost at work. So yeah, I really need to find the time to get over there and get my damn tires and try to work that out. I just got the receipt floating in my car here somewhere. Lately what's been happening is I get home, I'm super tired at the end of my work shift, super tired after work. I get home, I do go right to sleep-ish. As you saw in my video yesterday, I did run, I didn't go directly home. I went and got my drink, and so I didn't get home as early as I could have. And then I ended up picking up a stranger at the Circle K there. Had a woman at the Circle K, reasonably cute young woman at the Circle K at 48th Street and Thomas, and I gave her a ride to around Palm Lane and 40th Street. I don't know if she was a victim of just if she got mugged, or maybe somebody tried to grape her, or what, but she was in a lot of pain. I offered to take her to a hospital. She said, no, I just want to go to my friend's house. And she was crying and was in bad shape, and she wasn't even asking for money, which is a good thing, because I ain't got any on me. But yeah, my heart absolutely went out to her, and I gave her, it's not like it's far out of my way. But yeah, I got home a little bit late. Again, not a huge amount of time, but as soon as I got home, and now that hasn't happened. I don't regularly run into women that have just been assaulted, but I do often try to run a couple errands in the morning, but whatever. I mean, generally speaking, I'm getting to bed before Discount Tire opens, so I'm not making it to Discount Tire, and then I'm falling asleep, and then I'm waking up way earlier than I should for no good reason. I want to say today I woke up at about 11:30 a.m. I have no idea why. I just did. Ooh, I'm almost to the toking area. Always less parking spots. Actually, there's a lot of empty parking spots for a Wednesday night. Wednesday night, as I've tried to explain, the way front half and back shift works, both front half shift and back half shift work on Wednesday. Both shifts work on Wednesday with back half in control, which is fine by me. Usually both teams are actually working together. Even though the back half management is in control, both halves of management work together as a team.
I do expect that, normally when I come in late on a Wednesday, I end up going to either inbound or prep receive, just because outbound is such a small department. But I got a feeling lately we've been really short on forklift drivers, due in part to a couple of two of our best drivers being on vacation. Miguel quit. That's part of it. He was featured in one of my live streams inadvertently. He was coming down here to work an overtime shift and just happened to be waiting for McDowell on the bus as I went walking by. That was pretty freaking wild. He quit. No, I'm sure he's eligible for rehire, but he quit because he needed to go help family out in Mexico. So I'm really bummed. Miguel was by far one of my favorite people to work with here, and I wish we'd kind of sought contact information before he so hastily left, especially considering he was not only my coworker, but he was the guy who gave me my original practical training and taught me physically taught me how to drive a forklift, and also was my neighbor. So yeah, I hope our paths cross again. I miss Miguel. As far as people on leave of absence, though, Adam is on a leave of absence. Apparently is on paternity leave. Just had a baby. Speaking of paternity leave, Marcus is back. Day before yesterday was his first day back. I know he's been showing baby pictures, and I've missed him. I feel intrusive even asking, and the guy's probably eager to show them, which I don't know why I should feel intrusive about that, but I just don't feel like I don't feel like I know Marcus that well. In fact, I remember when he was gone, maybe about a month after he left on paternity leave, I remember asking Adam about that, because Adam was a little more clarified. He's like, yeah, and Adam was like, yeah, Marcus and I are tight, but we ain't tight like that. Like, okay, fair. But anyway, yeah, so Adam's, which is funny because I had no idea that sorry, I got to tie my damn right shoe and fix my safety vest. I had no idea that Marcus had a baby on the way, and I had no idea Adam had a baby on the way. So Adam just left on maternity leave, and people going to foreign countries to help out with family. I don't think he's necessarily helping out with family, but Eduardo, who or Edwin, I don't know why I would call him Eduardo. Edwin is Filipino. One of the guys I really like working with, but sometimes we do have a bit of a language barrier, just because his English isn't all that good, and his English isn't all that good, and he doesn't speak Spanish. So my Spanish isn't all that good, but my Filipino is non-existent. So anyway, he went back home to the Philippines. I think just for honestly, I think just for the holidays, which is fine. I mean, that's what you save up vacation for, right? At least what some people save up vacation for. I need to save it up for just doing some serious cleaning at my place. One of my cats, I'm worried about Sambo, pissed all over some stuff at the foot of my bed, including my GYR3 hoodie and my Jack Sparrow blanket. I'm not happy about it. Yeah, I went to pick up the hoodie and put it on to find it reeked of cat piss and was moist, so then I had to go and wash my hands extra good. So, not cool. I really need to wrap this up. Oh, look, there's a GYR3 bag that got thrown away, but as you can see, the strap broke on it, so I'd have probably thrown it away too. It does frustrate me how many things people throw away here. One thing that really frustrates me is end of every shift I tend to see gloves and safety vests discarded that were obviously used for one shift. And yeah, I appreciate and support the fact that Amazon gives them away to associates and doesn't make associates pay for that, because that's a shitty thing. However, seeing associates abuse it, where they get a brand new one every day and just throw it away at the end of their shift, is just, it's not even about the money. Fuck the money. It's just about the environmental damage being done by that. It's terrible. You know, when I lose a pair of my gloves, I've mentioned before, I get really distressed about it. I'm like, fuck, where's my gloves? I'm like, let's get another pair. I don't want to get another pair. Where are my gloves? I'm not ready to get another pair until I wear some holes in the fingers. Then it's time to get another pair. Anyway. So yeah, Edwin on. Yeah, so anyway, as it stands, they're probably short on drivers. Owen Wayne got suspended, haha. Anyway, I gotta get in and get to work. Thanks for coming with me on the drive.